So what's it like being an autistic parent with an autistic child? Well, in a word, challenging. I wanted to make this video because there are seem to be lots of videos about how to help autistic children, but there doesn't seem to be a lot, if any, videos of what it's like to have an autistic child and be an autistic parent. Now, myself and my husband are autistic, as is our son. And I have to say, although it's good in some ways because obviously we can relate to him, we can understand his sensitivities and his struggles in life, we can understand this probably in a greater depth than a neurotypical person could. However, it also brings its own challenges. So, for example, my son is homeschooled. And we go to groups, and I have to make a real conscious effort to take him to the groups that he wants to go to, because I don't want to go. I hated groups as a kid, and I don't like groups as an adult, and I don't want to go anywhere near the groups. I just want to stay at home. So it's very difficult. I have to leave my comfort zone. I have to be sort of the adult, the bigger person, and go and take him to things, which can be a real struggle, because then you've got parents who want to talk, session leaders who want to talk, and I don't want to talk with anyone. On the flip side, you've got when he does go to groups, or in the past when he's gone to groups that he finds overwhelming, we subsequently don't go to those groups anymore, but he would come out and he would be grumpy, in tears, non-verbal, non-communicative in any way. It would be really difficult. So I'd have to then go and collect my child from a group where the session leader or other adults didn't understand why he was reacting like that, why he couldn't wait to get out of there, and it's why he's in tears when he appears to have had a really nice time, in the session. So that's really hard as well, because all I want to do is run away. I don't want to be in that situation. And I have even had a situation where I've taken my son to a group, and it was in a really, really stressful time in my life. We'd just moved house, and I was just all over the place. Prior to moving house, we'd had a really, really, really difficult possibly one of the most difficult times of our lives as a family. And I was so almost on the edge. I was on the edge of burnout, and I did burn out. And I took my son to a group. But before we got there, even as we were just pulling up in the car park, I managed to just crash the car. Not badly, no one was hurt. We were parking into a space, and I smashed into another car. But something so simple as that, I'm so thrown out of a loop, the fact that I just want to stay home and I want to deal with my own needs and my own struggles, but I have to be the one who goes, on the face of it, no, everything's fine, and let's go out and let's do your group, because he's wanting to go somewhere. And I find that really, really difficult. But that's just leaving the house. I mean, within the house, my son is loud. He is demanding. He wants the attention all the time. He wants to do what he wants to do when he wants to do it. And that's very difficult for me, because I suffer hugely from sensory overload. And if anything's too loud and too bright, or I find it really, really difficult. So when you've got a very loud, boisterous boy wanting to do things and doing things regardless, even if you say, no, I can't do that right now, he finds it very difficult to respect the boundaries and personal space. So he wants to be, in my face, or, with me, physically with me, cuddles or whatever. And I'm like, find it really, really difficult. It's so difficult. And my husband's the same. Thankfully, we have different boundaries, so my husband can tolerate a lot more of his noise, for example, than I can. but my husband can't tolerate the physicalness of it, the physical affection side of it, as much as I can. So we do balance out, thank goodness. There are lots of things. We make a really good team. I mean, I thank God that I'm not a single parent, because I don't know how I would do it. And I commend all of you out there who are single parents in general. But to be a single mum or dad with autism and have a child who's autistic also must be so exhausting. So I commend you for that hugely. But there doesn't seem to ever be any kind of talk about how the parents of autistic children, how autistic parents can look after themselves. It always seems to be about what we can give to our children, how we can make their lives better and easier and less with less struggles. But there's no focus on the parents, and I really wanted to just make this video to say, if you are a autistic parent with an autistic child, then I hear you. I know it can be difficult. I'd love to hear from anyone else who has these struggles, because it is really hard. I love my boy to pieces, and he's brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant, but it's exhausting. It's exhausting being a parent. It's exhausting having a child who is a little different and who finds things difficult, more difficult than, you know, the average child. I'm not sure what to say really. I'm quite tired, but yeah, it is. So, you know, if you know some autistic people who have kids who are tired, who are struggling, perhaps there's a way you can reach out to them to help them out. It may not be feasible, and they may not want to, you know, have you in the house so that they can go out, I don't know, for a meal or cinema or whatever. But if it is something they want to do, at least ask if there's anything that you can do, because we don't have that. We have no one around us to help or ask or care, so it's quite challenging. It's always just the three of us, which can amplify things, of course. So yes, reach out, ask people if they need any help, ask if there's something you can do, but listen to their answer. Don't push yourself on them. Don't say, oh, you must go out, I'll come and look after the child, oh, you go out, because it might not be what they want, and that might just cause them more stress, because they don't want to go out in the first place or leave their child. But please ask if there's something you can do, because I know that would mean a lot to me if people, if I had anyone around me, if they were to ask if there's anything they could do. Anyway, I'm rambling on. I just wanted to say that I hear you, and if you are an autistic parent, please reach out to me, because I'd love to hear from you and how you find dealing with your autistic child. How do you find it? Do you find it as difficult as I do, or have you found ways to cope? I'd be really interested. And thanks for watching, guys.